Hi, this is Jared Hill with Coldesi, and today I want to show you how to print on canvas. So what I've done is I've grabbed one of these canvas that you can purchase from any kind of art store, anything like that. Now there's not coated, so what you have to do is you have to coat it. So what we use is we just use our light garment coating. That's really it, and we use our Spyder Mini. We pre-treat it just like you would a fabric. And then because there is a little bit more, we'll let it, moisture, we'll let it drip off and then air dry. Once you're at that point, really what we want to do next is we're going to take our design, we're going to bring it into the software, and then we're also going to outline the size of our canvas and just print an actual outline onto the canvas or onto the platen. And once we're at that point, now we know exactly where to place this canvas. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've got it lined up. Now if you want, you can stop this by putting double-sided foam tape or wood or anything in here to kind of make a stopper. The good thing about the M2 is it does not jump or jerk, so it's safe to just leave it as is. So what we want to do is we're going to lower our bed. So once we're lower, we're just going to go ahead and feed the canvas in. We're going to raise the bed until it stops, and we're in a good spot, and we're going to hit load. So that's going to go ahead and send into the correct position. Now in my software, I'm going to use a white shirt cue. And really all I need to do, because this graphic is a really colorful graphic, I'm going to use my graphics instead of my photo. But I want to reduce the amount of ink that I'm using because you don't want as much as you normally print on a shirt. So what I'm going to do is right click on the image that's in my queue, choose properties, go to my color ink, and then I'm going to go to my max ink. Now on this canvas, because it's real colorful, I just know that I'm going to max it out at 235 as opposed to 400. So we're going to cut the ink down quite a bit, and we're still going to get a really good ink laydown. There's nothing, the ink can't absorb into the material, so it's going to sit on top. So really at that point we can hit print, or we can also choose rip only, or up here there's a button, spool. And when we do this, it's going to show us what our actual job cost is. So as soon as this is finished, we'll know, and then we'll go ahead and hit print. So for this job, it's a little bit over 19 cents. So all we have to do, now that we already know the platen is in position, is choose print job. It's going to go ahead and spool the job to the printer and release it. Okay, now that that's finished, there's a couple things I want to make sure of doing before I touch this, is because it is still wet, I want to make sure there's no ink pulled up anywhere on the actual canvas itself, and I don't see any, so it's safe for me to pick this up. But to dry it, there's a couple things we could do. We could just let it air dry, but if you do it that way, just make sure you give it enough time that it doesn't smear. If it does smear after, let's say, a couple hours, then you probably have too much ink. And I'm also looking at the design to make sure there's no bleed anywhere. If there's bleed, then I probably use too much ink. In this case, there isn't. So really, at this point, we can let it air dry, or we could actually even put it under a heat press just for a little bit. You don't want it for a long period of time, but just enough to surface dry it. You don't have to bring it down or anything. Just let it sit with the clamshell. If it's a clamshell, lift it up, or if it's the other types that raise and lower, make sure it's at the top height. But other than that, that's really good. The only other thing I would also make note of is because it has to wrap around, you will get this little marking. So there's two ways to finish this off. The first way would be to tape it before you print. And if you tape it before you print, you want to make sure that it just goes a little over the rounded area. Otherwise, you'll see a sharp mark on the top. So you would just tape it. Once it's dry, peel it off. But what we like to do is we actually like to paint the edges. So we'll take whatever color scheme, in this case most likely purple, and we'll take a similar hue of that, the overall color scheme, and we'll paint the edges to give it a really nice finish. But really that's pretty much it. And again, you just want to make sure you're not touching anywhere. But that's how you would print a typical canvas. Now we also have the ability to print larger. This is an 11 by 14. The M2 can print, you know, up to 1824. So on a canvas size though, probably 1620 is a safe size. And what you would do is we have a large platen, or you can have the dual platens, and you just print the same thing, a line all the way around on both platens, and then you would just turn your canvas sideways. And of course, you know, it would be resting on both of your platens. And again, that's how you would be able to get your larger size canvas. So again, this is Jared Hill with Coldesi. Appreciate the time you spent with us, and we'll look for future videos. Thank you.